In Beyond Good and Evil, Friedrich Nietzsche challenges traditional morality and offers a bold critique of the philosophical foundations of Western thought. Nietzsche argues that conventional ideas about good and evil are oversimplifications, imposed by society to limit individuality and free will. He believes that humans should transcend these moral binaries to achieve their fullest potential. Nietzsche begins by questioning the very nature of truth and knowledge. He criticizes philosophers who claim to seek truth objectively, asserting that their philosophies are often driven by underlying personal biases or a subconscious will to power. According to Nietzsche, philosophy is not a neutral search for truth, but rather an expression of the philosopher's own instincts and desires. He calls for a new breed of philosopher, one who has the courage to question established values and create new ones. In the early chapters, Nietzsche introduces his concept of perspectivism, the idea that all knowledge is shaped by individual perspectives with no single objective truth. He argues that every interpretation of the world is influenced by personal biases, experiences, and cultural conditioning. Nietzsche challenges readers to consider that multiple perspectives may hold validity and that wisdom often lies in embracing complexity rather than clinging to rigid beliefs. Nietzsche then critiques the concept of traditional morality, particularly the Christian moral framework that emphasizes meekness, humility, and compassion. He believes that such values suppress human potential and foster a herd mentality, where individuals conform to societal norms rather than assert their own will. Nietzsche calls this herd morality a form of slave morality, as it encourages people to value obedience and passivity over strength and independence. He contrasts this with what he calls master morality, a system that celebrates power, ambition, and self-overcoming. Master morality, in Nietzsche's view, is not about oppressing others, but about an internal striving for greatness and self-mastery. In one of his most provocative ideas, Nietzsche introduces the concept of the will to power, which he sees as the fundamental driving force behind human behavior. Unlike traditional philosophers who argue that humans are driven by a desire for happiness, survival, or rationality, Nietzsche claims that humans are primarily motivated by a desire to exert their will, assert control, and create meaning. The will to power, according to Nietzsche, manifests itself in creative endeavors, acts of self-overcoming, and the pursuit of excellence. He argues that individuals who fully embrace their will to power become what he calls Übermenschen, or overmen, individuals who transcend conventional values and embody true freedom. Nietzsche also criticizes nationalism and anti-Semitism, prevalent attitudes in Europe during his time. He warns against the dangers of collective identity and the suppression of individual thought in favor of group loyalty. He believes that true strength comes from within the individual, not from identification with a nation or race. Nietzsche advocates for a form of individualism that transcends societal boundaries and values. In the later chapters, Nietzsche explores the roles of art, culture, and religion in shaping human consciousness. He acknowledges that religion and art have served as sources of meaning and inspiration, but warns that they often promote escapism and hinder self-awareness. He believes that, rather than relying on religious or cultural institutions to define their values, individuals should cultivate their own moral frameworks based on personal insight and inner strength. In Nietzsche's view, true freedom and fulfillment come from rejecting societal expectations and striving for self-actualization, a process he calls self-overcoming. Self-overcoming involves constant growth, self-reflection, and the courage to confront one's own limitations. Nietzsche argues that by embracing this process, individuals can achieve a more authentic and fulfilling life. The book concludes with Nietzsche's vision of a new kind of philosopher, one who creates values rather than conforms to them, who is unafraid of solitude and able to confront the uncertainties of existence without relying on societal validation.